Welcome back to the Bimmerzite channel. My name is Rich and today I'm at BMW of Bridgeport. This is my local dealership and today we're going to be driving the 2018 i3 Rex and sort of going over the car and kind of giving it a test drive and show you guys what I think after driving a new Tesla Model 3 and a Tesla Model Y SUV just last week. So I'm here at BMW in Bridgeport, Connecticut. This is just one town over from where I live, and this is actually my dealership. I typically bring cars here to resolve repairs that can only be done at the dealer in their service department, which is excellent, by the way. And yes, even I, Bimmerzite, bring my cars in when I just can't get it right myself. Let's take this car out for a spin and we'll see what it can do. And what are some of the first things I notice when I get in this car? The view out of the windshield, like the whole front of the car in front of me is giant, and it feels like the dashboard, the end of the dashboard is almost another arm's length away. So there's a lot of space in here. It feels very spacious. And this feels, I'd say the view from where I'm sitting looks more comparable to the view outside of the Model Y SUV, actually. I'd say it's closer to that than it is the sedan. As I'm pulling out of the dealership here, one thing I do notice is the regen on this car is very strong. Basically, when you take your foot off the go pedal, again, there is no gas pedal anymore, and I'll try not to say gas pedal, but when you take your foot off the go pedal, the brakes kick on at the same time. Basically, this is the electric motors scavenging the energy from the inertia of the car moving and sort of reclaiming that kinetic energy, converting it back into power and storing it into the battery to basically make this car as efficient as possible. And so as a result, when you let off that pedal, it's sort of like I can feel myself, you know, as if I'm hitting the brake at the same time. And yeah, I think it's more pronounced on this i3 than the Tesla Model 3 or even the Y that I drove last week. And yeah, let's see what it does in terms of power as well once the road ahead opens up in front of us. Now I'm getting off the highway here where I just drove in some very windy conditions, and I will say that this car actually sounds a bit quieter and has less noise inside the cabin than both Tesla models that I drove, the Model 3 and the Model Y, which is really impressive actually. And I guess that's to be expected. It's the difference between a manufacturer that's been making cars since when did the first Tesla Roadster come out? In 2008? And versus BMW, who's been making cars for like 60 years or something like that. BMW definitely has the refinement down. That's not to say the Tesla quality isn't any good. I think the Tesla quality is actually very high, but you can tell this is a BMW. It's a luxury product. It is made in Leipzig plant in Germany, and that plant is actually run 100% on renewable energy, including hydroelectric power and wind turbines that generate electricity for the plant. So this is a very greenly produced car. It uses no traditional forms of energy and waste in the manufacturing process. And so overall that makes this a very green product, not only in how it operates day to day when you're driving it, but also in basically how it was manufactured and produced back in 2018. And then it's also able to be recycled and broken down when it finally does reach the end of its life, hopefully, which is many decades from now. Now today I'm driving a 2018 BMW i3 Rex, which means this is the range extended version. It has a 2-cylinder, basically a scooter motor, which I was just looking at with the guys at the dealership. And that motor is found on quite the range of BMW Motorrad, which is the BMW motorcycle segment or dealership, and they exclusively deal in BMW motorcycles. And so that engine was borrowed and sort of serves as a generator which will generate power. It's gas powered, of course, uses gas and oil, and that is gas powered. It generates electricity and will recharge the battery when the battery gets down to a certain level. And so just want to make the distinction that the Rex model doesn't actually power the car on that motor. It actually just acts as a generator, as a backup to power the car once the batteries get low. All right, yep, this car definitely is fun. Has that instant power and torque. Once you put your foot down to the floor, you can see my head bob back a little bit again, just like my previous video. This is definitely quick, and I'm not sure how long the battery life would last by doing this over and over again. But yeah, so far this car is quite fun to drive. One of the coolest things about these cars that I'm obsessed with is the fact that the entire body of this car, which BMW calls the Life module, is made of carbon fiber reinforced plastic. And that sits on top of the Drive module, which is basically the whole frame and unibody underneath it, which is made of aluminum that houses the motors and the suspension and brakes. And so together, where you have the Life module and that Drive module come together, basically this puts it in the same sort of design and manufacturing process as a LaFerrari or a Porsche 930 Spider. And so the technology there is really cutting edge, and you're really not going to get an entire carbon fiber chassis or body on any car you can get in this price range. And this car is for sale, which I will link up below at bmwbridgeport.com. So go ahead and check out their website as well. They have some new 2021 models coming in very soon. So if you're local to the Fairfield County, Connecticut market, go ahead and check them out. All right, here we go. Let's put it down to the floor a little bit here. 40, 50. All right, yeah, this car is it definitely has very usable power. It's nothing that's going to blow you away like a Model Y that has 500 horsepower. This has 170 horsepower, which is actually the same amount of power as my very first BMW that I bought when I got into cars, which was an '89 325i. So that's the E30 that is so infamous today on by car enthusiasts. And so that car had 168 horsepower from a 2.5 liter gas 6-cylinder engine, single overhead cam, and they basically produced, again, around the same power, 170 horsepower in this one. Another interesting thing is how you operate this car from this sort of giant turn signal stalk apparatus right here, which is pretty cool. And I've already gotten used to it in just a few minutes of driving. All you have to do here to park is press that P button, and to turn off the car, just press the stop button. Now when you open the door, we can catch a glimpse of that carbon fiber reinforced plastic right here on the frame, which is truly beautiful. Thankfully, BMW decided not to paint this or cover it up in any way, and they thought that, people might actually like to see that carbon fiber coming through. What's also interesting is this car has a lot of plastic panels, so this is actually a plastic panel, not traditional metal, to save weight. Up here is how we open the rear door. And let's climb in here and see what kind of space we have. All right, pretty nice. I gotta say the room in here is pretty good for a small hatchback car. It feels roomy enough for me. Again, here's a look at how much leg room and space I have in the rear of the car here. And there's plenty of room between my knees and the seat. I don't feel like I'm lacking any space. And this front seat is adjusted for my long legs as well. And I did not adjust it before I got back here. So yeah, I would say you could totally take your friends out to dinner, and you could even have kids in the back, and maybe a car seat here could be doable. Though I have heard that this rear door is a little tricky when you're loading a small child in and out of a car seat, but I'll have to test that myself at a later time. I'll just grab the handle here. These cars have a lot of interesting cutting-edge type of materials used to construct them, and that includes the door panels and all of the trim and fabric. For example, a lot of the fabric you see on the door panels and on the seats is actually made from recycled plastic. Now let's take a quick peek under the frunk and see what's under there. Here's your charger. And it doesn't look like this compartment really offers you any more storage space other than maybe putting a couple sandwiches if you're driving out on a picnic. Now, one of the ways you can distinguish between a BEV or purely battery electric i3 versus the Rex range extended version is you're gonna notice on the passenger side of the car, you have one fuel door here and one fuel door in the front. And if it's a purely battery electric vehicle, it's just gonna have that one door, which is the charging port, in the back here. So let's pop that open. We can pull this out. We have some charging port options. Oh, let's pop open the gas door here. Now behind here is the fuel door. And this is where you will fill up, I believe this is a 2.5 gallon tank, which provides fuel for the range extended motor. That's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more content like this, help me out by clicking that like button, leave a comment down below. That helps the YouTube algorithm show this video to more people. Also, thank you to BMW of Bridgeport for making today happen. I have lusted after an i3 and have wanted to drive one for a very long time, so huge shout out to you guys for making this happen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.